Hello, my name is Miss Evans, and I'm going to be taking you through how to use this computer science artifact and lesson plan for 6th graders. The standard used on this is the STA K through 12 DA Data and Analysis. So, the objective for this lesson is for these 6th grade students to understand how data is used in computer science through a real world example. So we just want to make sure that they're understanding that it's not as complicated as it may seem like. And yeah, so the artifact that is used for this lesson plan is just a Google Slides presentation, and the purpose of the artifact is to just guide you through your teaching. It's there to help with questions to be asking or for the students to be thinking about, and it's really simple and it's really short. So to start, you're just going to ask the students what they already know about data. How have they seen data used in their lives with their parents? How have they seen their parents use it, their siblings, if they're like older maybe? How have they used it in the classroom, in other grades during this year? That type of thing. And you just really, the thing that I have to iterate the most with this is that this shouldn't be you lecturing and you like over teaching to them what data is. The cool part about this is them figuring it out in their minds for themselves, and to ask questions and to participate and to get their minds going. So each slide in the artifact is gonna provide different questions to like help guide through it, basically. So once they've done that, you're gonna kind of like guide them in the right direction and say, yeah, like data can be used for this and this and this, and you will say, iterate how it doesn't have to be just using numbers, because they will probably be giving you a lot of examples of how they've seen data used that have to do with numbers, and help them realize that it doesn't always have to be including numbers. And after that, you're going to introduce the activity. The activity will be to give them 2 worksheets, one that has each of the statements from each of the people, and then one that has the food listings. So this activity is where the students get to act like they have to give someone a food recommendation, and they have 4 different food options. You'll split them off into groups, and each group will have a different food. On the worksheet, it gives a ton of information about each of the food examples, but it may not give things that you might need for later. So each of them will have 4 statements of people who need recommendations, but they say things like, I have this allergy, or I want to take a picture of it, or that type of thing. And so you have to use the data given to you and the information about each food item to figure out what the best recommendation for them would be. So what you're going to have them do is do that for each of them and kind of write it out, talk it out with each other. You're just going to walk around and facilitate, hear their conversations, guide their conversations if they're struggling, and that type of thing. And once they've like done that for a few minutes, you're going to stop them and you're going to facilitate more conversation. You're going to say, pick the one that's the easiest, and they're going to talk within their groups and discuss it, and then have each group share why that's the easiest. Then if you would like, you can go on and do what was the most difficult, and that type of thing. And you're going to ask them why, and it'll be because this data aligned with this person's statement, and it'll make more sense to them. Once you finish the activity, it shouldn't take too long, but it'll be a good way to get them working together and get them talking and figuring out what's going on. Once that's finished, you're just going to want to wrap up and just ask them what their better understanding of representation in data means, and why it's important to have a variety of information within your data to figure things out, and to help others, whatever the context may be. Ask them, if like they were creating their own food recommendation type of scenario, what would they do? What's the information that they would include, the data they would include to be helpful and useful for the person who needs a recommendation and for the person who's giving it to them. Ask them what their new definition or their new thought of data is now. Just wrap it up very smoothly. And like I said, each of the slides, there's only a few slides on the artifact, will point you in the direction of just guiding their conversation and getting them thinking about, what is data? How am I going to use this in school and in my life, whatever I want to do in the future? Start getting them thinking, talking, and working with each other. Thank you.